Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we're diving into the intense developments set to unfold on Friday, September 19th, where old alliances are tested, family bonds are strained, and unexpected pleas could change everything in Port Charles. Let's start with the emotional turmoil at the Quartermaine mansion, where Jason Morgan delivers heartbreaking news to Tracy Quartermaine about the loss of their beloved Monica. In a moment that shakes the foundation of the family estate, Jason has just revealed the devastating truth, but Tracy's initial reaction is one of sheer disbelief. She clings to a sliver of hope, questioning Jason relentlessly about the details, perhaps imagining some miraculous twist that could bring Monica back. Jason, ever the steadfast figure, gently but firmly confirms the reality after his thorough check, leaving no room for doubt. As the weight of the loss settles in, Jason reaches for the phone to notify the authorities, setting off a chain of official procedures that will ripple through the community. Together, Jason and Tracy find a rare moment of unity in their grief, sharing quiet reflections on Monica's indomitable spirit or sharp wit that could cut through any family feud, her unwavering dedication to the hospital that bore her name, and the countless ways she shaped their lives, despite their past clashes over business deals and personal vendettas. This shared sorrow highlights the deep love they both held for Monica, turning rivals into reluctant confidants in mourning. Imagine the scene: the grand Quartermaine living room, usually buzzing with schemes and arguments, now hushed as tears flow and memories flood back, from Monica's triumphs in medicine to her fierce protection of her children. Shifting gears to the Spencer family dynamics, Lulu Spencer faces a pivotal choice that could redefine her relationship with her daughter, Charlotte Casadini. After much internal debate, Lulu decides it's time to empower Charlotte by letting her make the call on a sensitive matter involving her father, Valentine Casadini. It turns out Jack Brennan has brokered a secretive agreement with Valentine, one that requires a face-to-face reunion with Charlotte as the key condition. This deal, shrouded in the intrigue of Valentine's exile at Steinmauer prison, adds layers of tension to an already complicated family history. Lulu reassures Charlotte that if she chooses to visit, she'll have her mother's full support every step of the way, perhaps even suggesting they prepare with small gestures like bringing Valentine's favorite book or a family photo to ease the awkwardness. However, Charlotte, growing more independent with each passing day, might opt for a solo encounter, sparking fresh arguments between mother and daughter. Picture the heated exchange: Lulu's protective instincts clashing with Charlotte's desire for autonomy, all against the backdrop of Casadini family secrets that have long haunted them, including Valentine's past manipulations and Charlotte's own brushes with danger. Meanwhile, Dante Falconeri seeks solace and guidance from his sister, Christina Corinthos Davis. In the midst of swirling chaos, catching up in a quiet corner of Port Charles, Dante opens up about his willingness to hear her ideas, potentially delving into strategies for navigating the fallout from Britt Westburn's surprising return. Christina, with her sharp insights honed from her own recent trials, might offer advice on managing emotional entanglements, or even suggest ways to mediate family disputes that echo their father's turbulent world. This sibling bond provides a grounding force, reminding viewers of the Corinthos family's resilience amid scandals, from Christina's legal battles to Dante's ongoing detective work that often intersects with personal drama. Speaking of Britt Westburn, her comeback to Port Charles isn't just about reunions, it's about survival. Desperate for financial stability after her time away, Britt swallows her pride and heads straight to General Hospital, the place where she once thrived as a brilliant doctor. She corners co-chiefs Portia Robinson and Terry Rudolph in a bustling hallway, flashing a confident smile as she boldly declares her intent to reclaim her position. But it's not as straightforward as Britt hopes. She might embellish her pitch with tales of her adventures abroad, inventing a story about honing her skills in a remote clinic, where she saved lives under impossible conditions, all to prove her value. As the conversation deepens, Britt drops the facade and reveals her dire circumstances, hinting at debts piled up from her mysterious disappearance or the need to support a hidden aspect of her life. Will Portia, with her compassionate yet pragmatic approach shaped by her own family crises, and Terry, known for her no-nonsense leadership, bend the rules to give Britt a second chance? This plea could lead to heated deliberations behind closed doors, weighing Britt's past contributions against the hospital's strict protocols, ultimately deciding if her expertise in oncology and her quick thinking in emergencies outweigh the risks. Across town, young Giovanni Joe Palmieri turns to his grandfather, Sonny Corinthos, with a request that's equal parts innocent and urgent: $10,000 to fund a reward for the missing dog Outback. Sonny, the powerful mob boss with a soft spot for family, is likely to grant it without hesitation, reinforcing his role as the go-to patriarch who solves problems with a mix of generosity and influence. He might even share a quick anecdote about his own youthful escapades with lost pets, drawing parallels to build a stronger bond with Joe. Little does Joe know, Outback isn't lost at all. She's safely tucked away in the Quartermaine stables under the watchful eye of Cody Bell, who's concocted this hiding scheme for reasons that add a touch of mischief to the plot. Joining Cody in this covert operation is Molly Lansing Davis, who stumbles upon the secret and agrees to keep quiet, perhaps motivated by her own sense of adventure or a desire to protect Cody from repercussions. This alliance introduces new elements of intrigue, like Molly suggesting ways to care for Outback in secret, such as midnight feedings or disguised vet visits, all while the search intensifies elsewhere. As the episode builds to its climax, General Hospital promises more twists for Joe and his friend Emma Scorpio Drake regarding the Outback mystery. Their journey might uncover not just the dog's whereabouts, but deeper connections to Port Charles' underbelly, blending youthful curiosity with the town's ever-present drama. Next, we're exploring the explosive return that's set to shake Port Charles to its core, as young James West comes face to face with his long-lost father, Nathan West, unleashing a whirlwind of emotions, secrets, and family reckonings. The anticipation builds as spoilers hint at a dramatic father-son reunion between James and Nathan, one that's poised to unravel layers of confusion and heartache for the innocent child. James, who's grown up without ever knowing his dad in person, is about to have his entire understanding of family flipped on its head. This encounter isn't just a simple hello, it's loaded with potential pitfalls, from unanswered questions about Nathan's mysterious absence to the deeper concerns about what his survival means for everyone involved. Imagine the scene unfolding in a quiet corner of the Jones household, where James's wide-eyed innocence clashes with the weight of years lost, perhaps starting with a tentative hug that feels both foreign and fateful. The spoilers suggest this meeting could spark immediate curiosity in James, prompting him to pepper Nathan with innocent yet probing queries about adventures in far-off places, like hidden islands or secret missions that kept him away, all while the adults around him brace for the emotional fallout. Diving deeper into the setup, Lulu Spencer stumbles upon an accident victim by week's end, and all signs point to this being Nathan himself, timing perfectly with his shocking resurrection storyline. Fresh off the bombshell of Britt Westburn's return from the supposed dead, Lulu is already grappling with disbelief and a torrent of what-ifs, making Nathan's comeback feel like another gut punch to her fragile sense of reality. Picture Lulu, out on a routine drive through the winding roads near Port Charles, spotting a crumpled figure by the roadside amid Nathan, disheveled and dazed from whatever ordeal faked his death years ago, perhaps involving a shadowy organization that held him captive in a remote facility. Her heart races as recognition dawns, blending relief with overwhelming dread. She's not just rescuing a stranger, but resurrecting a ghost from her past, complete with memories of Nathan's heroic days as a detective and the tragic demise that left so many mourning. This discovery could force Lulu to confront her own tangled history with the West family, including old friendships and rivalries that now demand reevaluation in light of these impossible survivals. While Maxie Jones remains trapped in a coma, unable to participate in the immediate drama, Nathan's reappearance opens doors for his other cherished connections to step into the spotlight. Family members and close friends will weave into this narrative, each bringing their unique perspectives and stakes to the unfolding saga. For instance, Nina Reeves, with her complicated ties to Nathan through marriage and loss, might hover on the edges, offering subtle support or even digging into the mysteries of his disappearance, perhaps uncovering clues like encrypted letters or hidden recordings that hint at a larger conspiracy. The focus sharpens on how this affects the younger generation, ensuring that Nathan's return isn't isolated, but ripples outward, touching lives in unexpected ways, from heartfelt reunions to tense confrontations that test loyalties forged in grief. At the heart of it all is little James, who entered the world just before Nathan's on-screen exit, leaving him to build an image of his father solely through tales spun by loved ones. He's always pictured Nathan as a larger-than-life hero, a brave cop who fought villains and protected the innocent. Stories embellished with details like Nathan's daring rescues or his unwavering sense of justice, often shared during bedtime routines by Maxie or Spinelli. Now, with Nathan standing before him in the flesh, James's reality shatters like fragile glass, forcing him to reconcile the myth with the man. This revelation could manifest in small, poignant moments, such as James shyly showing Nathan a drawing he made of his superhero dad, only to grapple with the confusion of why this hero vanished without a trace, perhaps leading to tearful questions about missed birthdays and holidays that highlight the emotional void left behind. The writers have a fascinating playground here, with multiple paths for how James and Nathan's bond might develop, each ripe with tension and intrigue. One possibility sees James warming up to Nathan right away, forming an instant attachment that borders on idolization, maybe even mimicking Nathan's mannerisms or begging for stories of his adventures during his absence, like imagined tales of undercover operations in exotic locales. This quick connection could ruffle feathers, particularly for Damien Spinelli, who's stepped into a fatherly role, and might sense something off about Nathan's evasive explanations, prompting him to launch a discreet investigation using his tech wizardry to scan for digital footprints or anomalies in Nathan's supposed death records. Spinelli's protective instincts kick in, worrying that James's blind trust could lead to heartbreak if dark secrets surface, such as Nathan's involvement in a covert witness protection program that forced his fake death to shield the family from unseen threats. Adding another layer, Cody Bell could slip into the role of vigilant uncle, amplifying the concerns and teaming up with Spinelli to safeguard James from any potential dangers. Cody, with his rougher-on-the-edges charm and history of looking out for the Jones clan, might observe the reunion from afar, picking up on subtle cues like Nathan's guarded expressions or unexplained scars, fueling his suspicions. He could invent a playful yet probing game with James to gauge the boy's feelings, perhaps during a park outing where they toss a ball and casually discuss stranger danger, all while Cody mentally maps out ways to verify Nathan's story, like consulting old contacts from his adventurous past. This alliance between Spinelli and Cody introduces a buddy cop dynamic to the plot, blending humor with suspense as they navigate their overprotectiveness without alienating James. On the flip side, the storyline might veer toward caution, with James himself picking up on uneasy vibes and approaching Nathan with a healthy dose of skepticism from the start. Influenced by the adult's hushed whispers or his own intuitive sense, James could hold back, asking pointed questions that cut to the core, like why Nathan didn't send secret messages or fight harder to return sooner, evoking images of a child piecing together a puzzle with missing pieces. This wariness adds depth to James's character, showing his emerging maturity amid the chaos, perhaps leading to tender scenes where Nathan works to earn his son's trust through small acts, such as teaching him a family tradition like a special handshake, passed down from Nathan's own father. Regardless of the direction, James is guaranteed to bombard Nathan with a barrage of inquiries about his prolonged absence, demanding clarity on the wheres, whys, and hows that have haunted the family. Nathan might spin a tale of being held in a clandestine facility abroad, enduring trials that tested his resolve, or perhaps reveal a voluntary exile to protect them from a vengeful enemy tied to his detective days, adding invented details like coded postcards he wished he could send. These answers, no matter how carefully crafted, are bound to introduce hurdles to their budding relationship, from trust issues to the emotional labor of rebuilding what was lost, all set against the backdrop of Port Charles' ever-shifting alliances. As spoilers tease, this father-son milestone paves the way for staggering revelations that will leave Nathan's circle of loved ones reeling, from jaw-dropping survival details to the broader implications for ongoing storylines. Next, we're delving into the heart-wrenching family fractures in Port Charles, where young Danny Morgan steps up with a poignant plea to Drew Kane, amid the shadow of Monica Quartermaine's passing, potentially bridging divides or deepening rifts. The air in Port Charles grows heavy with grief as spoilers suggest Danny Morgan could soon confront Drew Kane with an emotional appeal centered on his half-sister, Scout Quartermaine. In the wake of Monica's devastating loss, Danny might beg Drew to allow Scout to join the family at her memorial service, highlighting the child's need for unity during such a profound sorrow. This request isn't born from whimsy, but from Danny's growing awareness of Scout's isolation, painting a picture of a boy wise beyond his years, perhaps sneaking a quiet moment in the Quartermaine gardens to rehearse his words, drawing strength from memories of Monica's warm embraces that once brought the family together. Invented elements like Danny clutching a faded photo of Monica with Scout as a toddler could underscore his determination, symbolizing the bonds Drew's actions have strained, all while emphasizing how this plea might force Drew to reckon with the consequences of his protective measures. Drew has enforced stringent restraining orders that bar nearly all of Scout's relatives from her life, creating a fortress around the young girl that only he can breach. These legal barriers extend to key figures like Danny himself, Alexis Davis, Molly Lansing Davis, Christina Corinthos Davis, and even young Rocco Falconeri, severing ties that once formed Scout's support network. Yet, it's clear Scout yearns for these connections. Her small acts of rebellion, such as drawing family portraits that include the forbidden faces, or asking probing questions about her absent loved ones, revealing a deep-seated longing. With Monica's death looming like a storm cloud, this separation could amplify Scout's pain, transforming her grief into an unbearable solitude. Imagine her curled up in her room, whispering to a stuffed animal about missing the comforting stories Alexis used to tell, or the playful games with Danny, elements that add layers to her emotional turmoil and spotlight Drew's intentions to shield her from perceived chaos, even if it means isolating her from the very people who could help her heal. The situation escalates as Monica's passing sends shockwaves through the Quartermaine clan, hitting Scout particularly hard and igniting her desire for familial solace in her darkest hour. Spoilers indicate this loss will test the limits of Drew's restrictions, as Scout grapples with the void left by a grandmother who was a pillar of strength, perhaps recalling invented details like Monica's secret cookie baking sessions that taught Scout about resilience amid family feuds. The young girl's struggle might manifest in quiet tears or sudden outbursts, underscoring how the absence of her extended family could leave her adrift, without the shared memories or group hugs that typically ease such profound bereavements. This added dimension explores the ripple effects on Scout's innocence, where the legal walls Drew built to protect her now risk crumbling under the weight of genuine human need, forcing a reevaluation of what true guardianship means in the face of irreversible loss. Seizing the initiative, Danny takes bold steps in the September 19th episode, channeling his empathy into a soul-stirring entreaty that could alter the family's dynamics. Recognizing that Monica's departure demands collective mourning, Danny approaches Drew with a maturity that belies his age, perhaps timing his confrontation during a tense family gathering at the mansion, where the scent of fresh flowers for the memorial lingers in the air. He might implore Drew to let Scout return to the Quartermaine estate temporarily, or at minimum, grant her access to the funeral, even suggesting the lifting of those ironclad restraining orders, so she can grieve alongside Monica's other devotees. To flesh this out, Danny could invent a heartfelt letter from Scout, how fictional in this narrative, peddling her wishes, or share anecdotes of how Monica always preached family unity, using these to tug at Drew's conscience and illustrate the boy's proactive role in mending what's broken. However, Danny's impassioned words don't guarantee a breakthrough, as Drew faces a crossroads that might see him doubling down on his stance. Confronted with this raw appeal, Drew could dig in his heels, arguing that he'll guide Scout through her sorrow personally, perhaps enlisting Willow Tate as a stand-in for the broader family support, claiming their duo is sufficient for her emotional needs. This resistance might stem from Drew's own invented backstory of past betrayals that fuel his overprotectiveness, like an imagined childhood incident where family divisions left him scarred, leading him to vow never to expose Scout to similar pain. Yet, as Scout processes her grandmother's absence, she might voice her own queries about the funeral, her innocent curiosity clashing with Drew's rigid rules and potentially sowing seeds of doubt in his resolve, highlighting the internal conflict between his paternal instincts and the reality of Scout's growing independence. Whispers in Port Charles suggest Drew's presence at Monica's funeral could be tied directly to Scout's involvement, a scenario that underscores the irony of his isolation tactics, as the Quartermaine family might otherwise shun him entirely, drawing parallels to the closure Scout found at her mother Sam McCall's service, where heartfelt goodbyes and communal tears provided a path to healing. This new loss echoes that pain, prompting Scout to seek a similar ritual of farewell. She could leverage this by appealing to Drew's softer side, perhaps through tearful bedtime conversations where she describes dreams of Monica waving from heaven, inventing emotional details, like wanting to place a handmade card on the casket alongside her cousins, all to persuade him that attending with the family is essential for her young heart to mend. In the end, Scout's potential to sway Drew hinges on her ability to pierce through his defenses, convincing him that denying her this moment of collective grief would only compound her suffering. By evoking memories of Sam's funeral as a beacon of solace, where Scout learned to say goodbye surrounded by love, she might highlight the parallels, pushing Drew to reconsider and allow her to honor Monica amid the full embrace of her relatives. This invented element could include Scout practicing a small eulogy in front of a mirror, words that capture Monica's legacy as a healer and matriarch, ultimately tipping the scales toward reconciliation. As these developments unfold, General Hospital promises more layers of family intrigue and emotional depth. Stay locked into our channel for the latest twists, detailed recaps, and your chance to speculate in the comments below.